I know you're pumped up about the mage, and you're thinking about maining it for. From what I know, it's not confirmed, but you were so impressed about it. It's like, okay, it's a game now where you really like Fire. Did you really like Arcane? And if you didn't, is this?
Okay, so what they've addressed for Arcane, and I think they've also had the developer notes as well, is they're addressing some of the issues, especially visually, which we've also pointed out in our Arcane video with the rework. Even though things have changed since then, the visuals were still an issue, and we've talked about the visuals as well. So once again, bringing a little bit more love to the aesthetics of how the hero talent actually gets played, which is great for, you know, people who want to look at pretty things, because Arcane does pretty stuff. Not to mention with all of the tuning, which it's hard to judge, because I think for the first pass of Arcane, we didn't really have damage meters. We might have had them for the second one, and Arcane actually was doing terrible damage across the board. And we are seeing stuff like embedded Arcane Splinters damage reduced by 50%.
Yeah, that will help.
That's a little bit weird.
That will help Arcane do more damage than it did initially, right? That does sound like a nerf. I may be wrong. I'm no NASA scientist here.
This has not been my experience with Arcane Mage, although I could be shit at the spec, considering that Fire just does more damage than 2 specs combined. But I digress. Overall, tuning is neither here nor there. It's great that we see tuning to see the actual numbers. We don't have actual Mythic Plus. We don't have raids out. We don't know exactly what these numbers mean, because when you do dungeons on the alpha right now, things just die really quick. But it's great to see that the concerns for Arcane have been addressed, and we've seen a lot of the changes happen across the board for Mage as well. And they're redesigning a lot of the stuff. For instance, with Arcane as well, Spark of the Magi has been redesigned. Now makes your next Arcane Blast, Arcane Barrage, and Arcane Missiles echo for 25% extra damage, and initially was an increase in the damage that they dealt by these spells. This updated behavior will allow you to properly benefit from the Spark of the Magi damage bonus on an Arcane Barrage you fire before Touch of the Magi is applied, because we know that this interaction was present prior to this with the old, I think Radiant Spark was called, but now we're just seeing that adapted into a more cohesive way of playing Arcane. But also, there's a lot of stuff going into it. Aether Attunement has been redesigned as well. Every 3 times you consume clear casting, you gain Aether Attunement, and Aether Attunement makes the primary target damage increase reduced to 100%, down from 150, and the secondary target damage increase reduced to 50%, down from 100%. Once again, even more tuning, and Resonance and Arcane Cleave has swapped locations in the talent tree, similar to what we've seen with Death Knight as well. It's a lot of tuning and redesign to pathing based on players' feedback. And once again, more Fire.
Look at this! Look at this, man! Look at this list.
Actually, I've been paying way more attention to Fire, because I'm actually playing it on live right now. And what they're addressing to Charring Embers is basically just fixing the downsides of playing this mechanic with the tier set that we have now, and implementing it in a more less stressful way to play with Dragonfly, which is hilarious, because the Fire Mage rework has gone to a point where they're just like, oh, is that bothering you a little bit? Let's just fix that. Man, Hunter still doesn't have basic functionality of their talents, man.
Exactly the point.
That's why I lean towards Mage, and because it's good, but also because I do want to stress this out, that Fire, at the very least, should be a benchmark to how classes are designed in the War Within, because it does pretty much everything that a lot of people want. If something doesn't work with Living Bomb, they redesigned that into Lit Fuse, and is now doing incredible damage. Dead Talents have been swapped and redesigned to make them useful. Dead Choice Nodes have been redesigned and made them into actual Choice Nodes. Capstones have been made to be cohesive and make sense when you're building Fire Mage, and every week that we're seeing this, they're just moving pathing away. They're just buffing stuff and changing, like they're taking one functionality away from one talent and putting it into another talent, like what we're seeing with Call of the Sun King and so on.
Yeah, well, we can go through this a little bit if we're because there's a lot of them.
We're good on time? All right.
Yeah, we're good on time. So Call of the Sun King no longer grants 15% increased Phoenix Flame damage, and instead makes Phoenix Flames always critically strike. I guess you want that, but
yeah, that was basically from Alexstrasza's Fury. That was taken from that and put into Call of the Sun King.
Yeah, Alexstrasza's Fury no longer makes Phoenix Flames actually always critically strike. Yeah, From the Ashes now grants 15% increased Phoenix Flames damage. From the Ashes is now in Gate 3, so this and the Surging Blaze has returned to Gate 1. This is, the positioning of the talents. First starter position has changed. Phoenix Reborn now requires 25 hits, was 20, so getting
it had to be.
It was a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, I remember. Wildfire has returned and is now in Gate 2. Ashen Feather is now in Gate 2 on the choice node with Alexstrasza's Fury. in Flame is now located in Gate 2. New talent, Burning Blood. Damage dealt to targets below 30... Man, this is crazy. How much? This is so good. This is execute style.
Right. This is exactly execute, man. It's and that's not the only new talent.
I'm going. But this is. I'm already impressed. Like we can stop it here, right? But the talent is not in place, so it cannot be tested. Okay, new talent, Heat Shimmer. Damage from Ignite has a 5% chance to make your next Scorch deal 25% increased damage and deal damage as though your target was below. Oh, get the hell out of here, man. This is gonna be like Fire Mage is gonna be the execute beast with these.
Everything, man. You can talent into any aspect of dealing damage as a DPS player. That's why I believe that Fire Mage is probably the most complete DPS spec. It's kind of like the Vengeance Demon Hunter of the DPS specs, where you want to execute, you have execute. You want AoE, you have AoE. You want single target, you have cleave single target, you have funnel single target, you have AoE. Like everything is here. This is what you want in a spec.
Oh man, okay, but there's still more. This is not stopping. Hey hunters. So new talent, Sparkling Cinders. Living Bomb explosions have a 15% chance to increase the damage of your next Flame Strike or Pyroblast. Well, Living Bomb, this was not a talent you would take like on live, right? Like ever. Are they trying to like just get you to play more Living Bomb?
They have.
It's like this, like, cause I used to love Living Bomb back in Cataclysm, like
it's so good because you remember, and you know, because it was a PvP thing before it was a PvE thing. You would take it because you had to take it just to. Yes. I think in PvP you would take it because you couldn't play the other options in the row back in Shadowlands because they were too bad for PvP. They would break your CC. And in PvE you would take it because you needed what it unlocked, and you didn't actually press it. And now what they did is they made it a passive and they made it proc from things, and it does so much damage because we've tested today when we tested the Blood Decay. There was a Fire Mage in our group that was just exploding everything on screen with Living Bomb.
Oh yeah. I saw that. But this is great. I remember like when it was an active ability and you didn't really take it just because of reason X or Y. I used to love playing with it. I just apply it. Cool. I would, but again, that was active. So you would apply it and then you would just like build up your crit, and once that Living Bomb exploded, dude, it was one of the most funnest things, the most satisfying things all over. Now you're telling me it's passive?
Well, I can accept the fact that it being a button that you press is a little bit more exciting, but with a passive. But however, Fire Mage just does so many things. You cannot really put another button. There's no time. There's no time to press an actual extra button for Living Bomb.
I get it. Okay. Then also, Control Destruction increases the damage taken from Ignite by 0.5%, stacking up to 50 times. Was 1% stacking up to 25 times. Okay. So I guess they just want to prolong this a little bit. It was too fast. This is the gist of the change.
It's a very niche thing. I honestly didn't play that much to kind of get a feel of what this actually means for your overall performance, but considering what everything has been done to the rest of the things, I'll just, I'll trust them that they know what they're doing.
At this point, you cannot really not trust them because this all looks like effing great. Everything that we're looking at here.